So this week, I got an email to collaborate with a company I really love, one that I've seen support artists and creators both big and small. Inkbox.
I was super excited when Inkbox reached out to me to be a part of their International Women's Day campaign. So I thought, let me take you guys along the journey and kind of tell you what my process was like and what I learned along the way. So let's get into it. So for a bit of context, I have a illustration series turned brand called Not Sorry over on Instagram. You can find my Instagram Not Sorry here, or just check the link in the description below. Essentially, I've been creating artwork that speaks to my experience as a Tamil woman, a member of the South Asian diaspora, and just like a first generation kid going through stuff. And I started it back in 2017 or 2016, so it's been a while. If you don't know, like, get familiar with my work and then come back, because that'll probably make more sense why I'm doing this campaign. The brief I got essentially was to create a tattoo that reminds you of a moment that you're really proud of, or an achievement you're really proud of. And the lovely project coordinator actually saw one of my YouTube videos and was like, why don't you like sort of speak on that, because it kind of relates to like accomplishments and stuff you're proud of. And I was like, yeah, for sure, like let me incorporate it into the narrative. And yeah, so that's what I did. While I was brainstorming sort of how I wanted to approach this, I sort of came to the idea that there are two ways to approach a lot of like branded projects. One way is to focus on the sell and the brand and all of that jazz. And then I thought of another way where, why don't I incorporate a message that's important to me, a story, a perspective that's important to me, along with the brand's message? And I chose to do the latter for this project. In a talk I recently attended, we were taught about the Indigenous 7th generation principle. And the speaker, Loveleen, actually said, a woman empowered, or a woman who heals herself, heals 7 generations before and 7 generations after her. So with this in mind, I wanted to consciously communicate my current story as a point of reflection for other Tamil and brown women to identify with and maybe reflect on. And I wanted to emphasize the strength and resilience embedded in every Tamil woman's DNA. I think especially as a Tamil girl, our communities and our history and our families have been through so much trauma and like unfortunately war and genocide and the oppression that still goes on. I wanted to emphasize to like Tamil girls that, you know, like ground yourself in the strength and resilience of the generations before and the generations in the future. And of course, I'm taking the approach of empowerment and strength and resilience as it relates to the central theme of International Women's Day. So the next stage is the illustration and actually designing the tattoo, which is super exciting. Basically, Inkbox has a customizable tattoo option where you can kind of upload your design on their website and then have a custom tattoo made. So I sketched out a few ideas and some of them were working, some weren't. I tried this whole like jasmine flower direction and it just wasn't hitting. So then I looked back into some archives of work I've already done, and I remembered like I kind of tried to make like a personal logo branding thing for my design identity, and I kind of did have this concept of a blooming lotus that represents kind of like evolving as an artist and a creative, and I thought that spoke really well to like the evolution of my story. And for the Tamil element of the tattoo, I decided to write Tamil girl, which translates to Tamil pun, and Tamil script is just like beautiful and art in its own in its own sort of element. So I thought that would be a beautiful way to just tie in my story as a Tamil girl and how I'm growing and evolving. So that's sort of what you see here. So after I got the design approved, it was basically just waiting for the tattoo to arrive, which was so exciting. I just love seeing my work on different mediums. Now, on top of creating the custom tattoo, we had to create like a piece of content. So whether that's a post or like a video or whatever. So I chose to do a video because I'm on my whole challenge yourself wave. Now, I know I'm not the only person that goes through this, but when I try something new and I'm not good at it, like in the first like 2 tries, I'm like, you know what, this isn't for me. Like, let's move along, let's move forward. But I'm slowly realizing that I really need to push that like perfectionist mindset out of the way to actually like work on and learn new skills, because when you change your mindset to like more of a growth mindset, you can be open to like learning and evolving and eventually getting really good at what you do. So basically my process for the visual narrative is write out my idea and what I want to say, and then figure out like a rough storyboard of how I want the visuals to flow. Usually that kind of happens in cohesion. So after organizing the visual narrative, I went in and I just like made everything as concise as possible because it is for Instagram and it's for the Instagram attention span. Once I did that, I shot everything, I added the audio, and then I brought it into Premiere. And luckily, my friend AJ was able to hook me up with a really cool beat, so it's copyright free. You can check out his Instagram right here. And this is what I created. So one thing I've been really proud of this year has been betting on myself. Trusting myself, my intuition, and abilities to become an independent artist, creator, and designer. I honestly struggled making this decision for years. The choice between security versus the unknown is a hard one to make. And alongside this, the cultural stigmas around being an artist. But when I think of my story, my family, my community, and my identity as a Tamil woman, I realize I am made of strength and resilience. And those doubts seem so much less important. The custom Inkbox tattoo I drew serves as a reminder to ground myself in my identity as a Tamil woman and to allow myself to evolve and grow as both an artist and a woman. The lotus blooming represents my growth and evolution, filled with closing chapters and new beginnings, while the Tamil characters translate to Tamil girl, which reminds me to ground myself in my identity. Betting on myself as a woman has been so liberating. Since starting this new season in my life, I've started creating videos, exploring new creative projects, and just opening myself up to the possibility. So this Women's Day, I'm celebrating betting on myself as an artist and a Tamil woman. From working on this campaign and doing other branded projects in the past, I've come to realize that it's really important to be selective with who you collaborate with. And I think by doing this, you just create that integrity within yourself, within the work you put out into the world. And it just makes for a much more pleasant experience. And I think the right collaborations will come your way when you're ready. So it's important to just stick it out and stay true to your intent and your purpose with your work. And I just wanted to say thank you to Inkbox for giving me this opportunity. It was really, really fun and awesome, hence the video. And I wanted to say thank you to all of you for subscribing. I think it's over 100 people have subscribed, and that's just like crazy to me. So thank you so much, and I will see you next week.